Hey everyone, Matt here from MsMojo, welcoming you to a very special TV hour. We're going to be focusing in on a small screen staple since the 1940s. Yes, I'm talking about the situation comedy, or the sitcom. And man, have there been some great sitcoms over the years. Well, just watch this.
This couch is cut in half. I would like to exchange it for one that is not cut in half.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 greatest sitcoms of all time.
Comedy is a place where the mind goes to tickle itself. That's what she said.
For this list, we're looking at the TV series that have redefined the genre, bringing in everything from comedic variety to character quality. Which sitcom do you think stands above all? Number 20, That 70s Show. Focusing on a group of troublemaking teenagers, this series is all about enjoying one's youth. Filled with quirky characters with their respective running gags, the show takes a comedic look at the traits and mannerisms associated with the 1970s.
Why do we celebrate the 4th of July?
Because we are damn glad not to be a bunch of British tea-drinking Nancy Pants.
At its heart, the story is about Eric Foreman's growing years as he navigates through love, loss, and friendship. Despite living in the relatively uneventful Point Place, Wisconsin, Eric and his friends manage to see everyday issues through a hilarious lens.
Which also means no bacon, just good old heart-healthy ham.
Bacon.
With recurring aspects like the gang's circle and visiting the water tower, That 70s Show gives us plenty of reasons to get attached to its world. And considering how genuinely the characters develop over the years, who wouldn't want to hang out with this gang? Number 19, The Jeffersons. On air when family-based sitcoms were all the rage, The Jeffersons brought in a decade's worth of good times.
All right, so what's going on here?
George, I didn't expect you home so early.
A spin-off of All in the Family, the series has much of the same humor, with patriarch George Jefferson serving as the go-to character for comedy through his out-of-touch mannerisms and loudmouth antics.
I wear a fresh one every day. You don't blow money on a fresh flower every day. No, I steal one every day from a blind flower girl.
Not one to tolerate anyone, George never holds back what he's thinking, a point of chagrin to his wife Louise. The couple's frequent bickering is a staple for the sitcom, and the way that they stay together despite it all is why we love watching them together. Although it follows the same style as its parent series, the Jeffersons are hard to shake off, as they even pop up in other sitcoms with their trademark dispositions.
Come on, shake a leg! We gotta get rid to that Universal tour and see the backdraft ride.
Number 18, Taxi. Featuring a cast that went on to become bona fide comedy legends, Taxi is a celebration of different forms of comedy.
What does a yellow light mean? Slow down. Okay. What? Yellow light mean?
The backdrop sees employees of the Sunshine Cab Company hoping to go beyond working as taxi drivers to make it big. Of course, this usually blows up in their face, as circumstances always land them right back in the driver's seat. Taxi was also significant for its time for delving into aspects like life crises and the importance of self-worth, all wrapped up in its brand of humor.
Oh, yeah? Hey, what happened?
My beloved grandmother died.
That's good news.
No, that's terrible news.
The series is now largely known for being the springboard to success for its cast, and it's quite an experience to see them bring their A-game in this multi-Emmy award-winning sitcom. Number 17, Schitt's Creek. This sitcom manages to turn an absurd concept into an entire series.
I'm film and television's Moira Rose. Won't you join me for a little stroll through the slice of paradise I like to call the town where I currently am?
After the Rose family loses their fortune, they're forced to relocate to a small town that patriarch Johnny bought as a joke. With Johnny's wife Moira, daughter Alexis, and son David similarly incompetent in life without money, the characters have to figure out a way to survive living beyond their means.
I think you might actually need to break a sweat in order to earn sweat equity.
Okay, what if I got Patrick to break a sweat for me? That's called outsourcing. Outsourcing.
Are you passing this economics course?
Jokes generally come in the form of witty wisecracks and banter between the family. As the show's name goes, Schitt's Creek is as run down as you can imagine. with the Roses constantly coming into conflict with fellow residents. While the absurdist humor always remains, it also develops its characters over the years to create a well-rounded story where everyone has a part to play. Number 16. Roseanne. A family sitcom with a twist, Roseanne takes a look at the struggles of a working-class family trying to make ends meet. It's a lot funnier than it sounds, as the titular character and her husband's knack for downplaying their issues is emphasized numerous times.
Come on, honey, one verse. I got you to kiss goodnight. I got you to hold me tight.
The series is notable for its depiction of relatable problems, and it's always nice to see these things presented with a balance between comedy and realism. Interestingly enough, we're encouraged to appreciate the issues the family has in Roseanne, as their flaws are the main hook for viewers.
Hey, I don't mean to interfere here, but, you know, the kids, they just took a shot at staying together. It's not like it's the worst thing in the world.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, it's not even the worst thing Darlene's done today.
While the 9th season's arc of the family's sudden riches was unpopular, the show is remembered mainly for its humorous and touching tackling of everyday life. Number 15. The Big Bang Theory. Credited with helping make geek culture mainstream, this show dives into the lives of geniuses. Using the normal character of Penny as the audience surrogate, we watch how being a geek is actually a fun way to live. Of course, putting up with Sheldon Cooper comes with the territory, with his long list of issues bringing plenty of hilarious moments.
My answers to the standard Rorschach ink blot test are A, a bat, B, a bat, C, a bat, and D, my father killing my mother with a hypodermic needle.
While the series starts out adhering to the geeky concept, it takes a heartwarming turn to show the characters maturing into responsible adults. In a way, the story can be distilled into Sheldon's change for the better, as he goes from a jerk to truly appreciating his circle of friends.
But I want you to know, in my way, I love you all.
Not to mention all the celebrity cameos that are always a riot to watch. Number 14. Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's not easy being the only sane man, as Larry David's struggles dealing with societal norms is the backdrop for this sitcom. Playing a fictional but realistic version of himself, Larry constantly finds himself in awkward situations due to his reluctance to match other people's expectations.
Scooch over.
How many years you know this guy? I mean, you're close friends.
You're right. I know him longer, so he should sit over there because I'm actually going to be talking to him more than you, so I should have eye contact with him, as opposed to turning around and straining my neck.
There's never a real plot line, as the story is basically about Larry finding a way to dig himself a bigger hole than the one he was in before.
I saw a bag of your dad's cashew raisins.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
good. Did you get it?
Yeah, he's kind of skipping on the cashews a little bit.
This actually makes the show all the more hilarious, since we see the world from Larry's eyes vis-a-vis his seeming dislike for everyone. The fact that people never really change gives the show excellent replay value, as Larry's constant grumpiness is always worth a watch. Number 13. Happy Days. Appropriately titled for the way things work out in this series, Happy Days is a tribute to the sweet life of the 50s and 60s. It's widely known for its major shift from starting as family-centric to becoming all about the Fonz.
Since there's so many of you and just one of me, I like to warm up a little bit, okay? So I'm gonna be right back as soon as I finish warming up, okay?
After experiencing success with wacky jokes and storylines, the show completely embraced this aspect to become a surreal experience. This all works in its favor, though, introducing memorable characters who then starred in their own spin-offs, like Robin Williams' Mork.
This is the best contest I've had in 20 bleams. The only reason I won is because your champion cared about his earthly friends. Funny thing, this warmth.
Fonzie's cultural impact remains to this day, with the Fonz being the epitome of coolness. Happy Days is also known for popularizing the term jumping the shark, when Fonzie literally jumped over a shark. Number 12. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Although this show helped Will Smith skyrocket to fame, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is an ensemble effort where every member of the family offers a different kind of comedy.
What's this thing?
It's a symbol for get out of my house!
Featuring the loudmouth Will in contrast to his upper-class relatives, most of the stories revolve around how a normal guy might feel living in absolute splendor. Making up most of the hilarity are Will's connections with the supporting characters, with his jabs at Cousin Carlton and Uncle Phil being something that never gets old. Although its comedic value is without question, the series is notable for touching heartbreaking topics with sensitivity.
Got through my first date without him, right? I learned how to drive, I learned how to shave, I learned how to fight without him. I had 14 great birthdays without him. He never even sent me a damn card. The hell with him!
With other elements like musical sequences and physical comedy frequently shown, the Banks family household is rich in every sense of the word. Number 11. How I Met Your Mother.
It was the best night ever. Laughter raining down like April showers.
A refreshing take on the Friends in the City concept, the sitcom takes us back through the years as Ted Mosby searches for his true love. While he tries to be the good guy, his fixation on finding the perfect woman is a painful experience in more ways than one. Much of the jokes come from Ted's contrasting best friends Marshall and Barney, with the latter pulling out all the stops to be the ultimate player.
Whoa, don't drink that. I saw some guy slip something in there.
What? Who?
That guy.
The show's greatest strength lies in the way it hooks viewers into the mystery of the titular mother's identity for a heartfelt journey through time. Although the botched twist in the finale left a bad taste in the fanbase's minds, the good times of the gang most certainly remain legendary. Number 10. Will and Grace. A groundbreaking and even daring show at the time of its debut. Will and Grace defies stereotypes to make comedy its main asset.
It's a Cher doll. Why on earth would I want to... Oh, okay, here you go.
Focusing on the lifelong friendship of straight interior designer Grace Adler and gay lawyer Will Truman, the story sees the pair's adventures in the city with kooky friends Jack and Karen. Despite the series being promoted through the titular duo, it's the combined chemistry of the four characters that make it such a must-watch. Will and Grace has a largely mature take on the matters of romance, and it's a nice change from the norm when the leads love each other platonically without relationship drama. The show also came back for a reboot, returning on a funny and positive note.
Will. Twitter celebrity sighting. The West Side curmudgeon is here.
I love him. He hates the things we hate and tweets about it.
Number 9. Frasier. Arguably the wittiest sitcom ever made, Frasier sets up its jokes well in advance for a hilarious payoff. While it is a follow-up to Cheers, the series has a style of its own, focusing on the Crane family and Frasier's wacky experiences at his pop psychiatry radio show.
KACL Cash Call Week. $5,000 if you answer your phone with the phrase that pays. So when your phone rings, don't say hello, say, well, blow me down!
Its supporting cast are deserving stars in their own right, with David Hyde Pierce in particular delivering laugh-out-loud moments through his character Niles' many idiosyncrasies.
You want a starter's pistol?
Yes. You see, as long as Maris thinks it's real, it makes her feel secure, but this way, no one can get hurt.
Frasier is also notable for the big contrast between the Crane brothers and their father Martin, who serves as the audience surrogate for how snooty his sons can be. Still, there's plenty of emotional moments to find here, with the series cleverly deconstructing Frasier's character to make him a deeply layered protagonist. Number 8. The Mary Tyler Moore Show. With complex, realistic plot lines about a young woman's career at a news program, the premise of this series was a rarity for its time.
This thing with you and Lars, you know what a big mouth Ted has. And what Ted doesn't tell, I will tell. And pretty soon it's going to be all over the station. And they're not going to think that that's a terrific image for the happy homemaker. So you see, it comes down to a choice. Either Lars or your show. I've got to go. I will see you later.
Not only was it revolutionary then, it's also aged very well as a relatable show for viewers of today. Mary's navigation of both her career and her relationships is given central focus, which also establishes the roles of the supporting players. The ins and outs of life at the news program is an interesting framing device, with important issues such as gender norms frequently tackled.
After 2 long years, he said, why rush into things? That's why she's here, Rhoda, to start a new life for herself. That's why she needs this apartment.
Compared to my life, that's a Walt Disney movie.
It's a sitcom that brings charming, youthful energy and doles out humor in clever ways. All in all, we'd love to feel as free as Mary does every time she throws that hat in the air. Number 7. Friends. The biggest pop culture phenomenon that a sitcom could hope to be, Friends has a concept that is relevant for every generation.
Well, this isn't exactly the kind of Thanksgiving that all of you planned, but for me, this has been really great. You know, I think because it didn't involve divorce or projectile vomiting.
With the central characters each having their unique gags and quirks, the show offers everything from career to romance troubles. And whether it's Ross's many embarrassing pratfalls or Chandler's scathing sarcasm, laughter is guaranteed in every episode.
Pivot! 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 Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Of course, long-running story hooks make Friends what it is, and fans continue to debate if Ross and Rachel really were on a break. More than anything, it's the Friends' tight bond that tugs on our heartstrings as they really are there for each other every step of the way. This extends to the supporting cast too, because who could forget someone like Janice?
Oh my God!
Number 6. MASH. If you're looking for a sitcom with a genuine dose of reality, look no further than MASH. Set against the backdrop of the Korean War, it's among the first comedy series to become an iconic piece of pop culture. Featuring the medical staff of the 4077th Mobile Army Surgical Hospital, i.e. MASH, the show initially took a lighthearted approach to medical procedures.
But you have a pool ball lodged in your mouth. No sweat. There is an alternative. I'll just take your temperature the other way.
It helps that the characters retain a funny bone in these matters, as the tribulations of war are still present for viewers to understand.
McIntyre.
Yeah.
What's in here?
Soot, sir.
Soot?
Yep.
Be the judge of that.
Over the 11 seasons, the show ventures into dramatic territory so as not to downplay the heavy setting. Still, it's incredible the way it balances its subject matter with regular funny material and many heartwarming moments. Number 5. The Office. Adaptations are rarely more successful than the original, and the US Office had quite the task to match the one starring Ricky Gervais. However, The Office has become a household name thanks to leading man Steve Carell, whose role as Michael Scott has reached legendary levels. No! Set in a branch of the fictional Dunder Mifflin Paper Company, the series manages to present the mundanity of office work as a series of crazy events. Its large cast offers variety in all forms, ranging from dry humor to sheer lunacy.
We're gonna die of boredom.
Yeah.
Right? And if I had a gun with 2 bullets and I was in a room with Hitler, Bin Laden, and Toby, I would shoot Toby twice.
There's a definite sense of camaraderie through it all, as well-done character development leads to every employee getting their deserved happy endings. As for the connections with the UK version, the series had that covered as well. Number 4. Cheers. An ensemble piece that really works, Cheers lives up to its name with its feel-good quality. Sam Malone's bar is the backdrop for over a decade's worth of adventures as the characters are brought together for good times to cherish. While romance isn't its greatest asset, Cheers is known for popularizing the will they won't they trope, with Sam and Diane's explosive chemistry.
I always wanted to pop you one. Maybe this is my lucky day, huh?
You disgust me. I hate you.
Are you as turned on as I am?
More.
It also extends to character traits, with aspects like Cliff's irrelevant trivia facts and Norm's iconic bar entrances.
Morning, everybody. Hey, what's going on, Normie? It's my birthday, Sammy. Give me a beer, stick a candle in it, and I'll blow out my liver.
The show deserves praise for bringing in new characters for us to connect with, as Rebecca, Frasier, and Woody fit right in with the gang for years to come. All things considered, we'd love to be where everybody knows our name. Number 3. I Love Lucy. Deviating from the traditional married life sitcom, the characters here constantly go from one scheme to the next.
Ricardo, I'm going to put you to work chocolate dipping. You say you've had experience.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm a dipper from way back.
Yes?
They used to call me the Big Dipper.
Featuring Lucy and her bandleader husband Ricky, the sitcom mainly centers around her frequent attempts to make it in showbiz. Ricky's exasperation with Lucy and their neighbors' never-ending pursuit of their wild dreams are the basis for the series' comedy. While largely without an ongoing story, Lucy's naivete and happy-go-lucky attitude are so infectious that we can't help but hope she finally gets her big break. The arrival of the couple's son provides more reasons to follow their adventures, as the show puts a new spin on things.
I'm afraid we're not going to be able to keep it. Why not? Well, for one thing, dear, our house is too small for a dog. But, Mommy, it's a small dog. Well, I know, but he's going to grow bigger. Maybe our house will grow bigger, too.
The overall happy atmosphere is credited with setting the template for future sitcoms, as I Love Lucy's legacy is here to stay. Number 2, All in the Family. As the top-rated show for much of its airing, All in the Family paved the way for the genre to dabble in multiple subject matters. With a protagonist like Archie Bunker, a man with no verbal filter, the series pushed the boundaries of what could be portrayed on screen.
Zucchini? Yeah, whatever. I was gonna eat the zucchini after I finished the peas. Then when are you gonna get to the turkey? After the zucchini. That's dumb.
The general outline involves Archie's reluctant acceptance of his daughter and son-in-law in his house, resulting in a culture clash between them. The presence of equally hilarious supporting characters like the Jeffersons provide additional avenues for comedy.
There you are. Thank you. That bartender's willing to work for me because if you got enough green in your pocket, then black becomes his favorite color.
Through Archie's uninformed attitude, the show injects dramatic conflicts that ultimately made it an influential series for its time. It also sets Archie up for a much-needed change in character, while retaining his overall comical persona. Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Family Ties, because differences between generations will never not be funny.
The precious hours spent in the familiar abode with loved ones playing a heartwarming game such as this are what make memories that one can treasure for all eternity.
When did all that occur to you?
As I was coming down the stairs.
Malcolm in the Middle. This family pulls out all the stops with their antics.
Well, don't accuse me of something that I wasn't gonna do.
Interesting mood shift. It would take hours to explain the psychology behind this. So let me just put it this way. Dynamite, kid with matches.
The Golden Girls, because it's always worth staying young at heart.
We're roommates and we've been having problems at home that we need to work out.
Before we get to the nitty-gritty, why don't you all tell me a little bit about yourselves?
Fine. I'm a teacher. I'm divorced.
I am a widow. No man would leave me unless he absolutely had to.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. A little action with comedy never does any harm.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a heartache.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a mistake.
Now number 5. I never wanna hear you say. Woo!
Modern Family, because this sitcom redefines what one big happy family means.
It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight, rising up to the challenge of our rivals, and the last known survivor stalks his prey in the night.
Number 1, Seinfeld. Rather than indulge in any heavy-handed storytelling, Seinfeld is all about delivering belly laughs. The show is about nothing, featuring hilarious episodes about mundane things like looking for a car in a parking lot or going to the airport. We aren't bogged down by the faults in Jerry and his friends since the characters are meant to be shallow and unlikable. Interestingly, side characters are what make the show a success, as everyone has a personality turned up to the highest level of eccentricity.
I returned that book. I remember it very specifically.
You're a comedian. You make people laugh.
I try.
You think this is all a big joke, don't you?
Still, Seinfeld manages to get viewers attached to the gang due to their inability to understand how over-the-top they can be. In fact, the only thing Seinfeld can't do is not be funny, and the show is certainly aware of that.
You cannot not be funny.
Of course I can. I'm being funny now.
A little.
Oh, this is funny? I'm being funny?
Yeah.
George, is this funny?
It's funny. Just because sitcoms are associated with lovable characters and funny scenarios doesn't mean that they don't have their share of shocking truths to be told. Yeah, check this out.
What's the matter, boy? Ain't I your type?
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 shocking facts about sitcoms.
What's your point?
There's no point. I just think it's a good idea for a t-shirt.
For this list, we're looking at some things you might not have known about your favorite situation comedies. From casting choices to behind-the-scenes goings-on, these facts are sure to shock, inform, and entertain. Which of these sitcom facts surprised you the most? Number 10. Luke Dunphy versus Nolan Gould. Modern Family. While Alex may be the smartest member of the Dunphy family, when it comes to IRL, Ariel Winter's smarts take a backseat to those of her on-screen brother. That's right, Luke Dunphy is really smart. Well, maybe Luke isn't, but Nolan Gould, who played Luke, sure is.
They always expect me to be like my character, who's not very bright. So we're always talking, and they always expect me to, not be very smart. They talk slow. Do you understand me?
Nolan is a member of Mensa, and as he told Ellen, has an IQ of 150. And unlike his character on the show, who barely made it out of high school and was the proud recipient of numerous college rejections.
Come on, NY! Notra!
Damn. Gould was getting his GED and graduating from high school at 13 and was accepted into USC a few years later.
And we discussed about nuclear fusion in our microwaves and, string theory and Schrodinger's cat and all these different scientific things.
Number 9. New Girl cast got a 7th season. New Girl. Not every show gets to end the way it wants to, often getting canceled before they can wrap up the way they intended.
So I've got it all planned out. I'm going to surprise Nick at his book reading, and afterwards, when he's on a big high, I'm going to tell him how I feel.
New Girl, however, was lucky in that the show was able to go out on its own accord. But it turns out that wasn't always guaranteed. There was a chance that season 6 was going to be the show's last.
Oh, come on, please go faster. I gotta tell my best friend I'm in love with her.
Shower first. I never seen anyone sweat so much.
And sure, the Nick and Jess elevator scene kiss would have made for an acceptable ending. It wasn't, as actor Jake Johnson said in his letter to the Fox chair people, the quote, right way. Yes, the cast members actually wrote letters to the Fox brass asking for one more season to do it right. They got it, and fans got a great goodbye. Number 8. We almost saw Maris. Frasier. Fans of Cheers will remember Vera as Norm's often talked about but practically never seen wife.
Vera has been phoning every 15 minutes here.
So what's this for?
Well, I told her you'd call the second you got in.
Well, you lied.
And being a spin-off of Cheers, the creators of Frasier liked the idea of providing a little nod to their predecessor, with an unseen character of their own in the form of Niles' wife Maris.
I like her from a distance. You know, the way you like the sun. Maris is like the sun, except without the warmth.
Now, initially the plan was to play the game for a few episodes and then reveal her to the audience. But they ran into a problem. By the time they planned to reveal her, there had already been so many jokes about her demeanor and ridiculously waif-like appearance that there was no way they could find a real person who looked as they'd been describing her. So, she became the show's Vera permanently.
Thin. Make that very thin. Caucasian. Very Caucasian.
Number 7. The $0 pilot. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The development of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia began as a short film idea by Glenn Howerton and Rob McElhenney.
That's not gonna work. You can't just do that. Well, what do you want to do?
The two of them and Charlie Day had all become friends as struggling actors, and using the short film as a jumping-off point, the three of them grabbed their own cameras and filmed a pilot in their apartments called It's Always Sunny on TV.
She gets to punch you in the face. What? Right in the face. Why? The Christmas party.
How about that game against Dallas when Santa came out at halftime and we threw batteries?
While that pilot got the show sold, the only parts of it that made the FX show are some shots in the opening credits. The lore of that original pilot is that the guys shot it for $200. However, according to Day, that's actually an exaggeration because they shot it for nothing. Quote, I don't know where this $200 came from.
You see, I'm in it for the lifestyle as well as the great investment.
Number 6. Lisa Kudrow learned guitar for the show. Friends. We're not sure what David Schwimmer's experience on the keyboard was before he became Ross, but we do know that Lisa Kudrow could not play the guitar before she became Phoebe.
Now, I don't know the actual names of the chords, but I made up names for the way my hand looks while I'm doing them.
Kudrow got the part, and then went and learned how to play the guitar, or at least some basic chords.
Did you even study at all last night?
Yes, I did.
Then do Iceberg.
G sharp.
G sharp.
And although she was able to pull off the musician thing on the show, it turns out Kudrow never really enjoyed it.
Little tiny Tarzan swinging on a nose hair, swinging with the greatest of ease.
In fact, after the show ended, so did her guitar playing. In order to play Smelly Cat on the reunion show, she had to Google the chords to remember how to play it. We think it goes bear claw, turkey leg, bear claw, old lady.
Smelly cat, what are they feeding you? Smelly cat, it's not your fault.
Too much.
Number 5, the first gay character, All in the Family. In 1997, when Ellen leaned over that airport loudspeaker and announced that she was gay, it was a big moment in sitcom and television history.
Susan, I'm gay.
But she wasn't the first gay character on a sitcom. Her coming out followed a line of trailblazing shows and characters going back decades, and beginning with Steve.
You don't have to go to no movies to see your wonders, huh, Steve? I mean, you bachelors? You got them coming and going like running water, huh?
Whatever you say, Art.
Steve was a former college football star and bachelor friend of All in the Family's lovable bigot, Archie Bunker. While the series is mostly remembered for Archie's cringe-worthy takes on race, many forget that the show, in only its 5th episode, introduced the audience to the first ever openly gay character on a sitcom.
How long you known me? 10, 12 years? Yeah. In all that time, did I ever mention a woman?
Number 4, Sheldon might have been Barney, How I Met Your Mother. We know that Sheldon Cooper believes in the many worlds theory.
While I subscribe to the many worlds theory, which posits the existence of an infinite number of Sheldons and an infinite number of universes, I assure you that none of them am I dancing.
And while he may not be dancing in any of them, there might be one out there in which How I Met Your Mother looks quite different.
Hey, you want to do something tonight?
Okay, meet me at the bar in 15 minutes and suit up!
In fact, it could have right here in our world, had Jim Parsons landed the role of Barney Stinson, for which he auditioned prior to Neil Patrick Harris being cast. And that's just one part of what could have been. It turns out that Jennifer Love Hewitt was offered the role of Robin Scherbatsky but turned it down to do Ghost Whisperer. And that is no wait for it, Zynga.
Bazinga!
Number 3, the Carlton dance inspiration, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. While Friends fans are familiar with Courtney Cox's impressive moves via the routine, what they might not know is her influence on an even more iconic pop culture dance move of the 90s.
It's not unusual to be loved.
Although for this, we need to go all the way back to the mid-80s and Cox's now famous appearance in Bruce Springsteen's Dancing in the Dark music video.
I get up in the evening, and I ain't got nothing to say.
Pulled up on stage by the boss, Cox busts out an awkward arm-swinging move that would later inspire the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air's Alfonso Ribeiro when coming up with his signature swing.
But when I see you hanging about with anyone.
According to Ribeiro, he took Cox's dance and Eddie Murphy's White Man dance and brought them together to create the Carlton. Number 2, no hugging, no learning, Seinfeld. Do you remember that very special episode of Seinfeld? The one where the characters took on an important issue and learned a valuable lesson? You know why you don't remember it? Because it never happened.
Why don't they make them anymore?
And that was very much on purpose. In fact, series co-creator Larry David had one very important rule for the writers to follow. No hugging, no learning.
So let me just explain.
Just take the episode where George's fiancée dies. Normally, this would be a perfect moment for a good cry and a group hug, but not on Seinfeld.
How did it happen?
Apparently the glue in the wedding invitations was toxic.
Well, that's weird.
Then there's the series finale that finds the gang sent to prison. A perfect moment for them to learn a lesson? Not on Seinfeld.
If I called Jill from prison, you think that would make up for the other ones?
Sure.
Number 1, I Love Lucy start to finish. I Love Lucy. While a multi-camera setup for sitcoms filmed in front of a live studio audience has been common practice for decades now, it wasn't the norm in 1951 when I Love Lucy hit the airwaves. In fact, while Amos and Andy used a multi-camera setup months before I Love Lucy implemented it, the latter was the first to use 35mm cameras and do so in front of a live studio audience.
And on second glance, I think I'll try someplace else.
Using this innovative setup and plenty of rehearsals, I Love Lucy episodes were filmed in chronological order with minimal time between scene changes. In general, it took no longer than 60 minutes to film a full 23 to 26-minute episode. A much more efficient technique than Lucy and Ethel at the candy factory.
Listen, Ethel, I think this...
You know, if you ask me, it should be essential to at least have one dim-witted character on every sitcom. You know, an idiot, but make them lovable. Well, lucky for us, and especially me, there have been plenty of them over the years. Just watch this.
Can I ask a dumb question? Better than anyone I know.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 lovable idiots on sitcoms.
Okay. These guys need structure, Doc. That'll become clear to you. You just don't see it yet.
For this list, we'll be looking at characters from sitcoms who definitely should have paid more attention in school, but who nevertheless won us over with their charm. Also, we're only including live-action characters on this list, so no animated ones.
Tag, you're it!
Which dim-witted character do you love? Let's roll. Number 10, Kelly Bundy, Married with Children. Christina Applegate won the hearts of pretty much everyone on Earth for her run as Kelly Bundy on Married with Children. And while she's undeniably beautiful, she could probably open a book every once in a while.
You can't be this dumb.
I can be anything I want to be. It's the 90s.
The quintessential cool girl is always more concerned with popularity and her looks than learning, though the writers definitely make her dumber as the show goes on.
Daddy, I'm afraid if I keep doing this, people are going to think that I'm all body and no...
Mind?
No, I don't mind. Go ahead.
Her family constantly criticizing her intelligence, or lack thereof, is a great running joke on the show. Still, we can't help but find her endearing. And the rare instances of her showing her smarts make it clear there's more to her.
See, if you take a gallon of knowledge and pour it into a shot glass of a brain, you're gonna spill some. In other words, certain basic information had to be sacrificed.
Like what?
What was that?
Number 9, Charlie Kelly. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Okay. I'd like to begin with my opening statement, if I could. First off, who is the defendant in this matter?
That's not a statement.
All right, well, irregardless.
Calling someone lovable from this insane cast may be a bit of a stretch, but while each of them has done some pretty terrible things, Charlie comes off the cleanest, but boy, is he dumb.
Like, is it bad?
No. Being comfortable in your own skin is never a bad thing.
Oh my God, right. Okay, so if I got, like, more skin or something, then I could, like, never do a bad thing in my life. And maybe I never have done a bad thing because I have a lot of skin.
Charlie's been shown to be illiterate and generally goes along with the gang's schemes without initially understanding what's going on. And the rest of the gang usually takes advantage of his idiocy.
See that door right there? One marked pirate. You think a pirate lives in there?
I see a door marked private. Is that the door you're talking about?
No, I was talking...
Yep.
I didn't say...
No,
What did you hear?
Charlie Day's performance as the manic character always elicits howls of laughter. And there have been several instances, such as the episode Charlie Work, that show he's clearly some kind of idiot savant.
Frank, we're gonna contaminate the truck. We're gonna contaminate the whole truck, all right? That goes to the keg room. And for the love of God, find a shirt! Find a shirt, Frank!
Number 8, Troy Barnes, Community. Community has plenty of lovable characters, though Donald Glover as Troy Barnes is arguably one who gets the most frequent laughs.
I didn't get Inception. Oh!
Beginning as an arrogant jock, Troy is a frequent source of mockery from some other study group members for his lack of intelligence. But for us, his childlike personality is one of the more endearing parts of the show, as is his relationship with his friend Abed, whose calculating demeanor meshes surprisingly well with Troy's off-the-wall energy.
Do you always indulge Abed in these little misadventures?
Take that back. Our adventures are very manly.
Whoa.
Despite being the uncontested dumbest member of the group, Troy is an incredibly loving and loyal friend, and it makes him one of the best characters on the show.
And if all we need is an scapegoat, I think we should just let this one go.
Sometimes you've got to be pretending, Troy.
Number 7, Jason Mendoza, The Good Place.
What are you doing?
Eleanor, you were right. No more pretending. It's time for me to be myself. What's up, homie?
The Good Place is all about learning how to become a better person. And even the characters who struggle the most with this concept become incredibly likable.
I don't know, this plan seems complicated.
To be fair, you also once said that about an orange.
They don't make sense. Apples, you eat their clothes, but oranges, you don't?
Jason's history of impulse control issues and lack of intelligence make him the most chaotic character on the show, believing Molotov cocktails can solve anything. However, through his connection with his friends, particularly his relationship with Janet, Jason learns to be a good person. And he shows he can be an important member of the group by dropping rare nuggets of wisdom.
It's called prevent defense. You don't take any chances and just try and hang on to your lead, but prevent defense just prevents you from winning. It's always better to try some.
Jason, that was coherent.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to.
We probably still wouldn't trust him with our taxes, though. Number 6, Michael Scott, The Office.
I declare bankruptcy!
Initially, Michael Scott is the offensive jerk boss that many of us can relate to having in our lives, and it produces hilarious results throughout the first few seasons. But there was always something underneath that, an unquenchable need to be liked that makes us feel a bit sorry for him.
I don't think that this is totally just a woman's suit. At the very least, it's bisexual.
His search for true love and happiness in the later seasons makes our hearts ache, and Steve Carell's performance is pitch perfect. But we have to admit he definitely shouldn't have been the one in charge. His antics make us laugh, especially when he comes off as vastly inferior intellectually to his employees.
Didn't you lose a lot of money on that other investment, the one from the email?
You know what, Toby? When the son of the deposed king of Nigeria emails you directly asking for help, you help. His father ran the freaking country, okay?
Number 5, Woody Boyd, Cheers. Woody Harrelson's southern charm has shined through in a lot of his roles, and combined with his character's simple-minded nature on Cheers, it creates a delightful concoction that makes him one of the show's best characters.
When she went to lunch with the other wives, she didn't pass muster.
Well, maybe she couldn't reach it.
While he doesn't join Cheers until its 4th season, his introduction as the late coach's pen pal immediately and brilliantly sets the tone of what to expect from him.
I don't remember him mentioning a Woody.
Well, we never met. We were kind of like pen pals.
You exchanged letters?
No, pens.
Pretty much everything goes over Woody's head, from jokes to social conventions. But his constant misunderstandings and charm makes him seem like a big puppy dog. And who doesn't love those?
You missing something, Woody?
Yeah, well, I had a $20 bill in my pocket. Now it's gone.
Well, say goodbye to that, Andy Jackson.
I'll see you later, Andy.
Number 4, Rose Nyland, The Golden Girls.
Well, you were one of the lucky ones. It doesn't always work out that well. It sure didn't for Olga Fetchik.
Just a minute, Rose. Somebody give me a hand signal when she's finished.
It's basically impossible to dislike Betty White, and that's partially because of her incredible work as Rose Nyland. Rose is the naive and gullible one of the show, a character trait of frequent ridicule by her roommates.
But when a person dies, you go to their funeral to show the man upstairs you have respect for human life, no matter how wretched it was. Any idiot knows that.
I knew that.
See?
Hearing her babble about her hometown, much to the chagrin of others, never fails to make us laugh. However, Rose is by far the most good-natured character. Part of her naivete stems from always wanting to see good in people. Though she sometimes regrets it, it makes audiences love her. She's just a sweet lady, trying her best.
You know, I've been thinking.
Oh, that would explain the beads of sweat.
Number 3, Joey Tribbiani, Friends.
Well, this guy came by to look at the unit, and he said he didn't think it was big enough to fit a grown man. So, you got in voluntarily? I was trying to make a sale. Oh.
Joey's one of the most famous idiots in sitcom history, and the evidence speaks for itself. He's irresponsible, lacks basic common sense, and indulges himself in whims. But he's seriously impossible not to love.
Say hello to the new champ of Chandler's Dumb States game.
Wow, how many you got?
56.
He deeply cares for every member of the group, and while he's not above occasionally making fun of their misfortunes, he's usually too slow in the uptake in the first place.
I think he deserves a Nobel Prize.
No! I mean, it was like the Algonquin kids' table.
If a beautiful woman is involved, however, then Joey's a bona fide genius. Actor Matt LeBlanc was actually the one who suggested making Joey dumber after the first couple of seasons. And we're grateful for that every time we watch.
This is all a moot point.
Huh. A moo point?
Yeah, it's like a cow's opinion. It just doesn't matter.
Number 2, Phil Dunphy, Modern Family.
Bring it, Laura. You want to test me? I've been tested my whole life. They could never find anything.
Phil is a goofy dolt, a person who takes almost nothing seriously in the great pursuit of having fun. However, while criticizing his intelligence brings great joy to his father-in-law, he's simply one of the best sitcom dads in history.
I've always said that if my son thinks of me as one of his idiot friends, then I've succeeded as a dad. If he wants to go the wrong way on the escalator, I'm on board. If he wants to go into a restaurant and pretend we're Australian, then g'day, mate. Toss a few shrimp on the barbie. For me and my Joey, yeah, right?
He's constantly looking for ways to connect with his kids and gives encouragement with utmost sincerity. He also clearly never forgot what it was like to be a kid himself as he approaches every situation with childlike wonder and glee.
Cheerleading in my college was cool. The football players were so jealous they wouldn't even let me and my buddies Trevor, Scotty, and Ling go to their parties.
Ty Burrell plays him with such earnestness, making us laugh while simultaneously wishing we could give him a hug. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few other lovable idiots that couldn't quite fit into our top 10, but definitely deserve some honorable mention. Tracy Jordan, 30 Rock. Dim-witted, with erratic behavior, makes for a hilarious character.
Everybody calm down. I think of an idea. Something that'll change the world. Eureka!
What is it, Trey?
We should call Eureka. She always has good ideas.
Chrissy Snow, Three's Company. The classic dumb blonde archetype.
Well, this is typical getting a girl pregnant. Only a man would do a thing like that.
Bull Shannon, Night Courts. His intimidating stature contrasted wonderfully with low intelligence.
You carry that much in cash?
People rob banks, Dan.
Penny, The Big Bang Theory. She's got street smarts, but no book smarts.
We know that Newton was a really smart cookie. Oh, is that where Fig Newtons come from?
Michael Kelso, That 70s Show. It's a good thing he's so pretty.
Before we pick up Jackie, I just want to make sure everybody knows what this trip is about.
The fabulous hot tub toilet?
No, Eric, tell her about my master plan.
Oh, yeah, see, Kelso, when you start a sentence with the words master plan, I just kind of know it's going to be stupid, so I just naturally tune out.
Number 1, Andy Dwyer, Parks and Recreation.
Oh, yes, technically I did smash my head area into the wall area.
Yeah, he was hanging up his gold record. Oh my God, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Much like Michael Scott, Andy started out as more of a jerk, but we're extremely grateful he didn't stay that way.
Leslie, I typed your symptoms into the thing up here and it says you could have network connectivity problems.
Essentially a child in a man's body, Andy's shenanigans and imagination led to some of the show's best jokes, such as his reoccurring alter ego, FBI agent Burt Macklin.
Burt Macklin, FBI. I was the best damn agent they had until I was framed for a crime I didn't commit. Stealing the president's rubies.
While it's always a delight watching him struggle to understand how to be an adult, it's his relationship with April that secures him as the most lovable idiot in sitcom history. The two complement each other extremely well, and she helps him mature in surprising ways. even if he never really gets any smarter.
Candy, dancing, tequila, all kinds of food and snacks.
Blood orphans.
No blood orphans. I don't know what that is.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this special look at television's many situation comedies. Hope you enjoyed yourself as much as I did. I've been Matt from MsMojo, and I'll see you next time.